Being a rapper is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, and it seems like it's getting even harder for artists to survive out there. Most rapper murders get solved pretty fast because the shooters leave a ton of evidence behind. But today, we're breaking down the biggest artists in the game who were tragically killed and never had their murder solved. Let's get right into it. Drakeo the Ruler was one of the best West Coast rappers of his generation. His career never blew up like it should have because he was always dealing with legal issues. And when he was finally on his way to the top, he was tragically murdered backstage at a concert. Nobody's been charged with his death, but there's rumors YG's crew was involved. According to reports, their crews ran into each other backstage, and that's when the fight broke out, and Drakeo ended up getting stabbed in the neck. TMZ reported that the cops were having to use mostly cell phone footage to figure out what happened, but the investigation hit a major roadblock because nobody wants to come forward and work with them. Another rumor about his murder is that it's connected to the death of a rapper named Slim 400, who was shot to death just a couple weeks earlier. Hopefully, Drakeo's family can get some closure over what happened, but it's gonna be tough to find answers if nobody cooperates. JayDaYoungan was one of the hottest new rappers in the South, but back in July, he was gunned down at his crib in a brutal attack. According to his dad, Kenyatta Scott, Jay and him were sitting outside when a truck pulled up and 3 shooters hopped out. They tried to run inside the house, but that's when 2 more shooters came around the side of the house and started letting off shots too. Scott started shooting back, but he got hit twice in the arm, and Jay was shot at least 8 times. It was a crazy shooting that happened in broad daylight, but the cops still don't have no suspects in the case. After it went down, Jay's homie, FG Famous, was allegedly arrested for shooting at someone in retaliation, but it's not clear who he was trying to take out. There were 2 other shootings in the city on the day Jay was killed, and the cops think they're connected. So tap in for updates while this tragic story develops. Indian Red Boy was a rapper from LA who was brutally murdered on IG Live last year. He was chilling in his car and chopping it up with a dude named Capone when the shooter walked up and started letting off shots. After he died, rumors started flying that Red Boy was killed because he allegedly disrespected Nipsey Hussle. But according to a dude on IG, that's not what really went down. He says Red Boy and his friend got into a fight in front of their homies over a girl, and Red Boy got stomped out. After the fight, Red Boy allegedly tried going after the same chick again, and that's when he was shot and killed. Killing someone on IG Live seems like an easy way to get arrested immediately, but the cops still haven't named any suspects in the case. Jimmy Wopo was a rapper from Pittsburgh affiliated with Wiz Khalifa. He was only in the rap game for a couple years, but Wopo was already racking up millions of streams and working with huge artists like 21 Savage. But before he could reach his full potential, Wopo got killed in a drive-by shooting in the Hill District neighborhood of Pittsburgh. He was on his way up in the rap game, but the cops say Wopo was heavy in the streets and called him the Hill District Terror. After he died, cops accused Wopo of running a crew called the 1100 Gang and being involved with at least 2 other murders in the city. Nobody's ever been arrested for his murder, but if he was as savage as the cops say he was, there would have been a lot of people in the city who wanted Wopo dead. Snooty Wild was a Memphis rapper who came up in the early 2010s with his track Yayo and signed with Yo Gotti CMG label. His career simmered down for a few years, but fans were shocked when he was found in a ditch with a gunshot wound in his neck. It's not clear exactly what happened, but back in February, Snooty was found by Houston cops in a ditch by the side of the road. According to a woman who's at the scene, she was trying to get her car out of a ditch when Snooty walked up and pointed a gun at her. At some point, he started arguing with some other people standing around, and that's when a shot went off and Snooty got hit in the neck. The whole situation's pretty strange. Nobody knows why Snooty would have pointed a gun at a random woman or why somebody ended up killing him afterward. The cops are still looking for his killer, so tap in for updates on this wild case. Goo New came up in Maryland and was known for his crazy work ethic. He put out 10 projects between 2018 and 2021 and was popping off with tracks like Stain, No Diss, and Hood Rich. But in March 2022, he was tragically shot to death after getting robbed for his jewelry. Goo New's mom said all he wanted was to get his family out of the hood, but somebody killed him before he had the chance. According to her, Goo New actually handed over his watch and chain, but the killer still shot him in the back. Trying to keep your jewelry can get you killed, but even doing the smart thing in the situation and handing it over don't guarantee you'll be okay. Hopefully, Goo New's family will get justice for his death, but the police still haven't named any suspects in his murder. Tupac is one of the greatest rappers of all time, but his death was so mysterious that it gets talked about by fans almost as much as the legendary music he left behind. In September 1996, Tupac and Suge Knight left their hotel to go to Suge's club, 662. While they was driving down the strip, a Cadillac pulled up to their car and started letting off shots. Pac got hit 4 times and was rushed to the hospital, but he tragically died a few days later. There's all kinds of rumors about who was behind the hit. Some people think Diddy took him out to put the East Coast up in the war against the West. Others say Suge had him killed because Pac wanted to leave Death Row Records. And one of the most popular theories is that Pac didn't actually die that night, and he's off living in peace somewhere far away from the rap game and all the drama. There's not enough evidence to prove any of the rumors 100% though, and fans will never stop debating about what really went down that night in Vegas. KTS Dre and his brother KTS Vaughn were two of the most feared rappers in Chicago. Their crew, Kill to Survive, had wild beef with sets like NLMB, and last year, street activities caught up to Dre. Dre got arrested for violating his parole, and his fiance posted a $5K bail. Even though he made bail, they ain't let him out till the next day, and Dre's grandma and fiance met him at the jail to take him home. After Dre was released, the three of them started walking back to their car. That's when two cars pulled up and started letting off shots. Dre's grandma was hitting her knees, and Dre caught an insane amount of 64 shots and died at the scene. It was a crazy attack, even for Chicago. Killing someone right outside of a jail is wild, but the cops still haven't arrested anyone for his death. Rumors say the NLMB was involved, but as of today, nobody knows for sure. Lil Marlo was Lil Baby's best friend and actually got him into the rap game. Both of them are hustling in the streets full time, but one day, Marlo hopped in the booth and he convinced Baby to do the same. Baby took it far in the rap game, but Marlo saw the foot in the streets. He had some buzz in the industry and was signed to Quality Control, but hadn't blown up like his homie Lil Baby yet. 2 years ago, the cops found Marlo dead in his car on I-285 in Atlanta. He had been shot multiple times and crashed the whip, but they've never had enough evidence to arrest anyone for his death. After he died, rumors were flying that the hit was meant for Baby and there was a bag on his head. But Baby hopped online and say all of that was cap. It's not clear who took him out, but Marlo was definitely the target. Unfortunately, he didn't leave the streets behind like Baby, and that decision may have led to his tragic death. E-Day was involved with the Chicago drill scene back when Chief Keef was first blowing up and putting the wave on the map. But besides rapping, he also repped 600 and had both feet in the trenches. E-Day was also known for dissing dead ops in his songs, and all the street activity and disrespect caught up to him last year. In August 2021, E-Day was chilling with a girl when two shooters pulled up and started letting off shots. E-Day pushed her out of the way, but he couldn't get to cover and ended up getting shot 22 times. There's tons of rumors about who was behind the hit, but right now, the case is still open. E-Day and his homies have a lot of beef in the city though, and there's no telling how many people wanted to take him out. Young Mozzie was a rapper from Atlanta who survived getting shot at a Waffle House and tweeted, "God made me bulletproof." But just a few months later, he was caught again and was shot and killed outside of a pizza shop. It's been 5 years and the cops never made any arrests, but Mozzie's girlfriend Kat Stacks said he got backdoored by his own people. According to her, Mozzie's homies called her an hour after he died and told her they were the ones who killed him. There's no evidence to prove her story though, and it don't make any sense to call up the girlfriend of a dude you just murdered and tell her what went down. At this point, it don't seem like Mozzie's family and fans will ever have a concrete answer about what happened to him, but that can always change. LA is one of the most dangerous cities to be a rapper in, and in 2020, an artist named Mac P Dog was shot to death in Koreatown. Mac and a woman were chilling in the neighborhood around 8 p.m. when a shooter walked up and started letting off shots. They both got hit, but unfortunately, Mac's wounds were too severe and he later passed away. The shooter hopped in the vehicle and smashed off, and the cops never found a suspect in the case. Mac was associated with Shoreline Mafia and had tracks with Phoenix Flexin and OGZ. He was grinding hard in the rap game trying to blow up, but he was taken out before he had the chance to really make it. Nobody knows why Mac was killed, but now he's another LA artist who was taken too soon. Bambino Gold and his cousin Kendrick Stokes were seen at a county fair in Alabama together. Gold was a rapper, and Stokes was a promoter in the industry, and they both disappeared at the same time. After they were spotted at the fair, both of them just vanished. Their friends, family, and the cops all started searching immediately, but they couldn't find any traces of evidence. Then 2 weeks later, somebody walking on the road saw a body that turned out to be Bambino Gold. Cops knew his cousin was probably close, and they ended up finding his body a few miles away. Cops think they were killed somewhere else and the bodies were dumped in the woods, but they never found any good leads in the case. It's been 5 years since Gold and Stokes were murdered, and the trail has gone completely cold. Maybe one day, there will be a break in the case, but as of today, the mystery is far from over. Loris Scooter was an up-and-coming rapper from Baltimore who was killed back in 2016. He was leaving a charity basketball game promoting peace in the city. Somebody pulled up next to him and started shooting. It turns out that Scooter's homie Fred Catchings might have been the reason Scooter was killed. Just a few hours before Scooter was shot, Catchings allegedly crashed out and shot an op named Devontae Robinson. According to the cops, Robinson survived and his homies went out looking for payback. And when they found Scooter on the road, they ain't hesitate to take him out. One of the main suspects was a dude named Cortez Mitchell. But before he could be charged with Scooter's death, he was shot and killed at a traffic light a few months later. The cops never closed Scooter's case, but it seems like the streets caught the killer before they could. Shooter's shells popped off in the Chicago drill scene when he dropped an NLMB diss track called Death of 150. But just 3 months later, he was ambushed in broad daylight and taken out by 3 shooters. It's not clear who was behind the hit, but the shooters obviously wanted to send a message. Shells was reportedly shot 15 times in the face, and a photo of the aftermath started going around online. Shells rep Black Mob, who had a major beef with NLMB, but there's no evidence that NLMB was behind the hit. The cops are still investigating the case 5 years later, but at this point, it don't seem like anyone will ever get booked for the shooting. All of these cases are crazy. Hopefully one day, they'll all be solved. Rest in peace to everyone mentioned in this video.